Can you put company projects in your portfolio as a freelancer? It's a question that we get all the time, and today we'll dive deep into the answer. Stay tuned. Hey guys, it's Josh here again with Millo.co, where freelancers come to level up their business. And today, we're answering another question from the Facebook group. Can I include agency work in my personal portfolio? Here's how group member Lisa puts it. I've been a graphic designer for 17 years now and have decided to fly solo, so I'm attempting to get my portfolio together. I'd like to display some previous work I'm really proud of, but I'm wondering if I need permission from the studios where I produced it. Figuring out whether or not you can actually include previous projects in your portfolio as a freelancer can be a challenge. But today, we're going to explain exactly what you should do to stay out of legal trouble. Fair warning, although we have lots of experience working with freelancers, we are not lawyers. This video is also sponsored by Hectic. More on them later in the video. And remember, if you subscribe to this channel and leave a comment on this video telling us what to cover next, we'll enter you to win $1,000. Okay, here are a few questions that you should ask yourself when trying to determine whether or not you should include previous work in your freelance portfolio. First, do you own the copyright to the work? If the answer is yes, then of course you can include it in your portfolio. But keep in mind, just because you created something doesn't mean that you own the copyright. We'll cover more on that in a minute. If the answer is no, then you'll legally need to get permission from the former employer, company, or agency for whom you accomplished the work before you can display it publicly. If you're not sure whether you own the copyright, then keep watching. We'll help you figure it out. Question number 2, did you complete this project for an employer? If the answer is yes, then it's most common and very likely that your former employer owns the copyrights to the work that you produced, and you'll need their permission before you can legally show it in your portfolio. This is only the case for most full-time employment contracts, not necessarily client contracts. If the answer is no, then you most likely own the copyright to your work. Make sure to check applicable laws in your country. But in most countries, you don't have to file for official copyright. You simply own the copyrights to anything you've created unless otherwise stated in a contract, such as an employment agreement. Also keep in mind, even if your employment contract doesn't explicitly list who owns portfolio display rights or other intellectual property rights, the most likely scenario is that your former employer owns the work you created for them. Even if you didn't sign anything, most courts would likely rule in favor of your employer, since most employee-employer relationships are work for hire by default. You can learn more about how a work for hire agreement affects you as a freelancer by reading the article we'll link in the description of this video. And if you still aren't sure whether you can include your previous work in your freelance portfolio, you've got to move on to question number 3. But before we go there, I'd like to take a minute to thank this video sponsor, Hectic. Hectic is a powerful all-in-one suite of tools for freelancers. You can literally do almost anything needed to grow a successful freelance business within the Hectic app. From proposals, to time tracking, to client management and calendaring, Hectic is our current favorite tool for freelancers who want to grow. Plus, if you like learning with video, you'll enjoy Hectic Academy, which is 100% free. In Hectic Academy, you can learn how to run your freelance business like a pro from experts who have done it all before. Learn more at millo.co/hectic or by clicking the link in our description. And thanks to Hectic for supporting this video and freelancers everywhere. Okay, now on to question number 3. Did you complete this project for a client? If the answer is yes, then knowing whether you can put company projects in your portfolio comes down to your original contract. If you don't have a contract, then by default, you own the copyright and you could display the work however you like. If you do have a contract, you'll want to check for the words work for hire. This particular phrase means the client legally owns any work you produced for them, and you'll legally need their permission to include the work in your portfolio. Barring that phrase or any other legal agreement giving your client the rights to the project, you most likely own the copyright and can put it in your portfolio with no issue. If the answer is no, and you also didn't create it for an employer, then you will likely own the portfolio display rights for this project. You can include it wherever and however you'd like. If answering the previous 3 questions, you're still not sure if you can use agency work in your personal portfolio, there is a very simple solution. Just ask for permission anyway. It is by far the simplest way to put previous work in your portfolio without any legal problems. But what if you left on bad terms with a previous employer? Not everyone leaves their job on good terms. Some people hate their former boss and can't fathom the thought of emailing them to ask permission to put company projects in their portfolio. But unfortunately, if you worked as an employee for a company while you created work for them, then legally speaking, you're a bit stuck. You can't legally show projects in your portfolio that you created as an employee without permission from the company you worked for. Of course, you can always take your chances and put company projects into your portfolio anyway. Instead of immediately suing you, your former employee would most likely send a cease and desist letter first, asking you to remove it from your portfolio, in which case you absolutely should. Again, we're not lawyers. We recommend that you seek legal counsel if it's complicated. And that's it. 3 questions you can ask yourself to know whether or not you can include previous in-house work in your freelance portfolio. Remember, we're giving one freelancer $1,000 for leaving a comment and telling us what to cover in our next video. For now, I'm Josh with Millo.co, and we'll see you next time.